What's going on, people? This is Jason. Um, this topic is about listening to Dan Le Batard and Stu Gatz. And I get everything Dan Le Batard is saying. Don't always agree with what he says, but today he's on point. And what's crazy is it's about Johnny Manziel and his drug addiction and the route his father's taken. And J.A. Adande and Stu Gatz feel like his father is selling him out by going public and talking about you're just blaming the rehabs for letting him go or you're not taking any blame. First of all, it's nobody's fault. An addict is an addict, and an adult is responsible for themselves. That J.A. Adande said that, it was done like this, where you have you close the door and you have an intervention with a bunch of people and you don't let them go. Well, you don't just do that to no grown person. If the grown person don't want to stay there, they're going to leave. Then J.A. Adande wanted to know, well, how did it happen? There's no communication. Well, how did it get to this point? And I'm like, I can only assume that J.A. Adande doesn't have any addicts in his family or know any, and that's a good thing. He's blessed. But Mr. Adande, what you need to understand is that an addict is someone who's irrational. And they stray from you when you try to check them. And that's any kind of addict. People don't want to hear things. I'm somebody who's heavy, and food is my poison. And I had family when I was at my biggest trying to talk to me, but you want to hear it. Addiction comes in many forms. Alcoholics don't want to hear it. They're drunks. And it's the same thing with addicts, drugs. You can't control your child. And people say that he shouldn't go public because he just keep trying and failing. I'm like, well, you must not either have children yet or your children are doing good and you haven't had any issues. My youngest son was getting in trouble in 9th grade. And his mother and I weren't together, but we were struggling to figure out what the hell to do because it got to that point where I felt like he was going down a road where the best case scenario was jail. And that's why I understand Johnny Manziel's father. That when you feel like best case scenario is jail, nobody wants their kid to go to jail, especially black man. And I can't imagine a white man with means wanting his son to go to jail. But he loves his son and he gets it. He don't want to be looking down in the casket at him. And he definitely doesn't want to have to be, burying him. So he's like, yo, this is best case scenario because he's not listening to me no more. I can't make him listen to me. And so he went public about his son, who's a public figure, who, and you can disagree, was probably the biggest Heisman Trophy winner ever. Not best. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. That all Heisman Trophy winners are equal. They get that fame. But he transcended the Heisman Trophy by becoming a public figure and being with LeBron and all these other celebrities. I didn't see many other Heisman Trophy winners, even in the modern times, hanging with the celebrities like that. They'd go on the Bob Hope show or whatever it was on ESPN, and they'd come on, but that was it. This guy was front row seats at games. So that's why people still talk about it, and it's frustrating because he's like, well, why do you care? There have been other addicts, but you're seeing this play out in a public forum because our society loves to see somebody ascend, but we love to crash even more. And Johnny Manziel's father's at a point where he's like, I can't take this. And for the people on ESPN, there were 2 guys in New York when I was there this past weekend who thought he was father of the year sarcastically. I'm like, yeah, he is. That he cares for his son that much that he wants the world to know that he's an addict. Because addicts want to do it on the low. And so now he's blowing up his spot saying, yo, I have to let everybody know about you because you're not listening to me. That we people need to get it together. And stop judging that man by what his son is doing and understand that Johnny Manziel's responsible for his being an addict. But I'm here to defend his pops because he's like, yo, I don't know what to do at this point. I love my son, but my son ain't listening. And when my son was in 9th grade, his mother and I found a place in Texas to send him to because we felt like, you know what? He's not going to listen. I come from a black family where I'll beat you, but that wasn't going to do nothing. And I sent him to an environment that was structured. And you can say how wrong I might be if you want. At the end of the day, my son graduated. He's still here alive. I get to hug and hold on to him. And he was out of an environment living in New York where we were at to where it wasn't just us raising him. It was his friends and the environment around him that was raising him that he was gravitating to. So I took him out of that environment. And that hurt because I love my son. I'm out.